Oftentimes, when it comes to playing the instruments, people think it takes skill and performance to be able to, you know, play it, you know, especially in front of people in a choir, in the church. But in the Bible, it's more than that. You know, music was about that spiritual moment and connection with God. An example is in 2 Kings chapter 3, verse 13 to 15, and I'll read. It says, "And Elisha said unto the king of Israel, What have I to do to thee, with thee, sorry? Get thee to the prophets of thy father and to the prophets of thy mother. And the king of Israel said unto him, Nay, for the Lord hath called these three kings together to deliver them into the hand of Moab. And Elisha said, As the Lord of hosts liveth, before whom I stand, surely where it is not, that I regard the presence of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I would not look toward thee, nor see thee. But now bring me a minstrel. And it came to pass, when the minstrel played, that the hand of the Lord came upon him." Now, this is King James Version. But in context, what it's trying to say, was saying, is that essentially the king of Israel called Elisha. And Elisha is saying that if it wasn't because of Jehoshaphat, the king of Judah, I wouldn't even be here, because, essentially these guys, the king of Judah, the king of Israel, who is Joram in the Bible, whose parents is Ahab and Jezebel, uh, he was serving idols like his parents. So that's why Elisha didn't even like him. And he allied himself with the king of Judah and with the king of Edom to fight against the king of Moab. And essentially the king of Moab, they were kind of losing because they didn't have enough water. So the king of Moab was kind of winning at that moment. So he requested for Elisha. But of course, like I said, Elisha didn't want it to come, but he came because of Jehoshaphat, not really because of him. But the key point here is that he called a musician to come and play. And it's as soon as, and when the musician started playing, as soon as he played, all of a sudden, the hand of God came upon Elisha, and the reason why Elisha requested a musician is because at this moment, the stress of even this king calling him was kind of, the kind of atmosphere that was kind of there, and the stress he was having because of this king calling him, because he didn't really like him, was kind of overriding his ability to hear God, you could say. Not really, it was kind of mixing in the film, so you could say it was this almost like a distraction, right, from hearing God. But he needed clarity at that moment, so he asked an instrumentalist. He called the instrumentalist to come and play, so that as immediately as he started playing, all of a sudden he could hear from God. And so, and the hand of God also came upon him, meaning that God started to move through that musician. So what am I trying to say here? What I'm trying to say is that as a singer, even, or as a musician, it is important that you allow God to move through you, and that you also pray, especially if you are a singer, especially, or if you mainly sing in the choir, or even if you don't even sing in the choir, but that God, it moves through you, you know, especially when when you sing, because sometimes when you sing to people, uh, and you're ministering through your song, maybe because the Holy Spirit asked you to do that, maybe because the person needs healing, that person can be healed because the, as you can clearly see here, God can move through sound, can move through it can use, not really move through sound, sorry, but it can use sound to create that kind of atmosphere where it's more easier for him to move, you know? So, and even here, Elisha immediately had clarity. So whether you're singing or, or you're playing, at the end of the day, it's very important that you allow God to work through you so that you can be able to, so that he can be able to, move through you and even be able to touch someone, to be able to even heal that person because he's there at that moment. So if you like these videos, just like and subscribe and follow for more. God bless.